All right, joined by the one and only Tim May, 97.1 The Fan and the Tim May Show. Joey Kaufman at Columbus Dispatch. All right, the Buckeyes will go into the college football playoff. Joey is the number 2 seed. But the one takeaway I take from Ryan Day's news conference, no one is happy.
It feels deja vu-like because a year ago, this was a team that was going into the college football playoff while reeling from a loss. And granted, I think the emotional stakes of this one aren't quite what they were last year, losing to Michigan in the game. But still, he's disappointed. He mentioned is sick to his stomach, and you can feel the sort of the bitterness of being so close, just losing by a field goal to Indiana. And Indiana's a really good team. I mean, this is a team that's top seed in the playoff field. It's unbeaten, but you still go into this postseason with that bitter taste in your mouth, and now they got a chance to kind of wash it out.
You know, Tim May, and I'm still having a hard time, you and I have been doing this a long time, to see what Indiana's been able to accomplish.
Yeah.
They're a very good football team. I still think Ohio State's a better team, but last night, or in this game, they were not. Ryan Day had the formula a year ago. Does he have that magic again to lead this team to a national championship?
Well, as everybody would say, we're gonna find out, right? Number one, that was the most like competition team that Ohio State has faced this year, and that includes Texas, with all the problems it had on offense. I kept telling everybody Indiana was better than it was a year ago, and we all know Indiana screwed up in the Ohio State game a couple times a year ago. I think Ohio State was a little bit shocked. I think the players themselves were a little bit shocked about how aggressive, how physical, and really how quick Indiana was. I mean, you know, holes that were there before, I'm talking about in the passing game and the running game, just weren't there against Indiana. That was a team that was fired up, ready to go, and created a bushwhack, an ambush, whatever you want to call it. But once you face something like that, you face that competition, Ohio State still had a chance to pull it out. Everybody knows that. And mistakes were made, huge mistakes, that could have made it a little bit of a one-sided game. That's what it is. You learn those hard lessons. So we'll see if this team learned those hard lessons. And they've got, 3.5 weeks to rub salt in their wounds and get after it. And they're playing in a comfortable spot, which has been for them, AT&T Stadium there at the Cotton Bowl.
All right, let me ask you this, and Ryan Day is not going to make excuses, but we can evaluate, we can take a look. He's been all about making the routine.
Right.
There was nothing routine about last week. You're coming off of a huge win over Michigan, emotional win.
Yeah.
You have signing day. You're losing your offensive coordinator. You're worried about losing certain players. It just seemed like there was a lot of distractions. Did that play a factor in this game? Coach is not going to address it, but we can.
Yeah, that's kind of yada, 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 though. I mean, they had to have an understanding of what Indiana was all about, and Indiana hit them in the mouth. With that said, that was a push game in the way I'm looking at it. And yeah, I mean, a lot of things add up for you. In 2006, Ohio State played the game of the century against Michigan, right? And then went and got bushwhacked by Florida, heavy underdog, got bushwhacked by Florida for the national championship. These guys are human beings. They do have ups and downs. I was asking some of the players on Wednesday of last week of how do you get yourself back up again after a battle like that?
All right, now the Buckeyes heading to the Cotton Bowl New Year's Eve and a date with the winner of Texas A&M Miami. Who's it going to be?
I like A&M. They get a home game in the first round. They're playing it in favorable conditions at Kyle Field, the 12th man, great home field advantage. And look, just a few weeks ago, the Aggies were pushing Ohio State and Indiana for that 1 seed as one of the few unbeaten teams left. Mike Elko has a great defensive background. That'll be a test for Ohio State. This matchup for Ohio State, being familiar with Jerry World and Arlington, Texas, there's going to be a lot of Aggie fans who make that drive up. It didn't hurt the Buckeyes last year because Texas had the home field advantage in the Cotton Bowl, and they were able to overcome that. But last night was another tough one where Indiana had the edge of the crowd advantage, and Ohio State had to deal with that. So that might be something for them to overcome as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of Buckeye fans in the Dallas area, but Texas A&M, is that who you see them getting?
I would think that Marcel Reed is a hell of a quarterback. I mean, I'd like to see this Ohio State defense going against that quarterback, but it would be more suitable for this Ohio State defense to maybe shut down what Miami does offensively. So we'll see where that goes. But the idea that this, and I'm not I'm not knocking Joey, but I mean, Ohio State fans are everywhere, number one. Number two, all Aggie fans, believe me, I grew up in Texas. They don't all live in College Station still. They'll be coming from everywhere. So this will be an aggressive ticket if, in fact, that it ends up being the matchup. The more tougher ticket, I think, to sell would be Ohio State-Miami, because Miami has a solid but small bastion of fans. So we'll see how that goes. But Ohio State's just looking for a rebirth, basically, in this game. So whoever it is going to be an interesting exercise for Ohio State.
As we go forward, what needs to get fixed before Ohio State can think about making any kind of run?
They got to get better in the low red zone. I mean, that's been just a trouble area all year. We even saw it at Michigan where they had the ball at the 3-yard line and couldn't punch it in for a touchdown. Manufacturing stuff in the short yardage situation. Maybe it's being able to sneak the ball better, or run in with the running back and fight for those tough yards, or open it up and do something different. They just have struggled in 4th and short. And sometimes it doesn't matter because they can be a big strike offense. But in these matchup games where you're facing even competition, it's going to be a one-score game. That's the difference.
All right, Tim. The one thing, though, and Ryan Day talked about it, defensively they feel pretty good. And this defense limited Indiana, high-powered offense, to just 13 points. That should be enough points to win the game. Do you like Ohio State's defense?
I like the way Ryan Day put it. All three aspects of this team, offense, defense, and special teams, had letdowns last night at key moments when you think about it. I mean, with Fernando Mendoza being able to throw, he had 2 huge third down passes down the field. And you can look at their third downs. Maybe they were 6 out of 12, but 3 or 4 of them were huge in this game. And that's what turns games like that. That's where you got to go back and readdress what you're doing on those third downs, for example. Because, you know, it's the old saying goes with Ohio State, sometimes people have joked, the 3 things can happen when you throw the ball against them, and 2 of them are good. One's a completion and one's a pass interference. So there are all kinds of places you can look on this Ohio State team to make improvements.
There you have it. Tim May, 97.1 The Fan, The Tim May Show. Joey Kaufman, The Columbus Dispatch. Keep it on 10 TV, 10 TV Plus, and 97.1 The Fan for all the best Buckeye coverage there is.